Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Satrio Mukti, with my NPM number is 2140100185. I am from 21 MGD class. So, on this video, I want to explain about mindmap, whose topic is business negotiations and business meeting, communication in the bargaining process. In this mind map, I have 7 things what I can explain. The first is introductions, and then business negotiations and business meetings in system of communications. Number 3 is the errors of perception in bargaining process. And this fourth is three things. Number 4, the emotional aspect of the bargaining. Number 5, verbal communication in the bargaining process. Number 6 is non-verbal communications in the bargaining process. And the last one, number 7, is conclusion. Okay, first let's go to the first is introductions. The negotiations in business takes place constantly, making the purchase and sale agreement, appointment and dismissal of employees, dealing with a variety of situations. Business meetings or negotiations can take place easily or with high voltage, may be able to easily negotiate or deal with special problems or who fail to agree, communicating efficiently, understanding psychology of the other human or negotiating partner, and the interests of the organization he is representing mostly determine success of business meetings and negotiations. To do this well, one needs to assimilate basics of communications, be able to read verbal and non-verbal communication signs, expressions, to have the correct system for preparation to interview and negotiation, to be able to provide and receive information to substantiate their positions, to respond to comments or neutralize them, to understand, to resist the manipulations, and know how appropriately to complete the negotiations. Okay, that's it about the introduction. Next is business negotiations and business meetings in system of communications. Business negotiations and business meetings is a complex, multidimensional, multi-phased process in which are combined different and conflicting interests of the negotiation parties. It means that negotiating had to know how to find a compromise option which best could meet their goals on and interests. For this purpose, the negotiating parties must know how to seek alternative solutions, evaluate them, compare with each other, and select the best. For this purpose, they must manage the process of negotiating, prepare for the negotiations as a process of finding solutions, to be able to choose the most effective negotiating strategies and tactical marketing steps to plan the negotiating pace and stage. The process of participations and communications. The effectiveness of negotiation depends on how the parties understand each other, what information is available about each other and produced in the bargaining process, how they are able to understand each other's motives, how they are able to submit proposals, arguments, and to convince the other side. That's about the business negotiation and business meetings in system communication. Next, number 3 is the errors of perception in bargaining process. The main errors of perception in the process of bargaining are divided into: number 1 is part of information is omitted. Number 2 is for some details is given too much weight. Number 3 is incorrectly is interpreted relationships between perceived elements. Number four is incorrect assumptions about people are made based on their earlier experience and false assumption that some of their traits must be always connected to the other. To avoid the errors of perceptions in the bargaining process, you must be flexible and then closely monitor and track the details. And you need to know how to postpone a decisions, and you must spend time to gather additional information that will help to create a more objective opinion, and not to give up to the impression of the first and finished effects. Last one is trying to empathize about each other. That's about the errors of perception in bargaining process. Next is about ratings, which contain number one is the emotional aspect of the bargaining. The emotional aspect of communication cannot be forgotten for any minute in business negotiations and business meetings. There are two responses to other persons and his problem: cognitive or information thinking and emotional. In some cases, we need someone who can provide required information to advise wisely by analyzing the problem, to find objective items showing how they had fallen into quagmire of information, and in other cases, we need more emotional support, understanding, compassion, and a hearing. There are three phases of empathy. Number one is understanding. Number two, going through another person's sense. Number three is transmission of sense in the various forms of expressions. Next is verbal communications in the bargaining process. Verbal communication is interactions, informational behavior by using symbols of speech between two or more people or for expression of ideas. Verbal communications takes part when negotiation is going with the help of spoken and written language symbols. In theory, a business conversation is, or at least should be, a set of deliberately chosen words with the help of which one more interlocutors want to influence the other participants or their growth, having the aim to replace the current situation or relationships, that is to create a new situation and relationships. The main function of verbal communication are information or transference of information, ideas, letters of intent. Number two is combining, and number three is emotional or feelings. Next part is nonverbal communication in the bargaining process. Nonverbal communication or nonverbal or body language, it is the form of the body's communications, expressed in unconscious or conscious gesture and postures. Nonverbal language helps in this case when the words do not provide sufficient effect. The gesture can be sole acting signal which cannot be transferred in words. Sometimes body language can speak louder than words. Silent signal can speak louder than words. Research has found that most of the information is transmitted is nonverbal signals. The main reasons why the nonverbal communication always attracts special attention among scientists and in everyday life commenting are: the nonverbal language is more universal. Nonverbal language is more convincing, confirms what partner have expressed in words, provide information about the emotional state of participants, shows the evolution of emotional state during communications, and is largely determined by the first impressions. Maybe that's about the three things. Now let's go to the last part is conclusions. The importance of business meetings and negotiations continues to be very significant in development of virtual business communication measures and forms. The most important agreements take place at the meeting face to face and will be so far along. Business conversation is one of the best and most acceptable ways to convince your interviewer in validity of our own positions, that he will agree with the opponent's positions and will adopt it or maintain. Knowing how to communicate efficiently, to understand psychology of negotiation partner and the interests of the organization he is representing is the reason of business meetings and negotiation success. Okay, maybe that's all we can explain to you all guys. Thank you for watching this video. See you on the next video. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Goodbye.